amendments to this morning's agenda? Not seeing any. And under chair's comments, first I'd like to welcome summer back and hope everybody has a fabulous 4th of July weekend. And it appears it won't rain for one, sometimes on the 4th we get a little, sometimes summer doesn't come until July 5th. So it looks we got it a week early. So we also have a special guest here this morning, the Josh Brown, Executive Director from Puget Sound Regional Council, and I think he's here to give us an award today. So, Josh, it's all yours.
Well, good morning, Chair Patanzu and members of the Kitsap Transit Board. I'm Josh Brown, Executive Director of the Puget Sound Regional Council. It's nice to be with you this morning. John, I didn't ride the Southworth Fast Ferry, but I did come over on the Southworth car ferry, and it was the most beautiful, spectacular morning to be commuting on our waterways. So I'm here today to recognize Kitsap Transit with the Vision 2050 Award. If you're not familiar with our Vision 2050 Awards, this is a way that our organization, PSRC, recognizes our member governments from the fantastic work that you all are doing to implement our regional plans. So we're a regional long-range planning agency. We're looking out only to 2050 with our planning work, but we need things happening today in our 4 counties and in over 80 cities and towns and amongst all of our partners in the region. And one of the really fantastic things that I get to observe is a profound reimagination of our transit system in the region, particularly the enormous investments that are coming online to support electrification. So the Silverdale Transit Center is the first transit center in the region that has in-ground wireless charging infrastructure for our buses. You know, as we see the future of transit, it's going to be electric. And Kitsap Transit has really been at the forefront, really thinking proactively about how to invest in the right infrastructure in the right places. I'm not surprised that an agency like Kitsap Transit is nimble enough to think about how to have the first type of wireless charging. And John, the one thing I didn't know about this is, can we put our cell phones next to the charging infrastructure and have that wireless charge capacity? I'm guessing that'll work too, right? Just kidding. He's getting nervous over there. But this award is in our on the ground category because we look at different ways that our member governments are trying to implement our regional plans. Sometimes we're looking at great planning efforts. Sometimes we're looking at community engagement. I think on the ground is quite fitting for this project, opening up a transit center that's not only serving the public today, but it's designed in some thoughtful ways to be able to serve the public for the decades
to Josh's comment about his cell phone. It would probably recharge it in about a half a second, so be careful.
So it does work.
Well, I don't know for sure, but I would say that it's gonna charge it in a hurry.
Good thing we're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me know when we're- I'm just trying to communicate that here.
Oh, she's probably wondering.
I apologize. Should just say join.
Not your problem, it's your device. Blame my tea.
Recording in progress.
Okay, she should be able to log back in now. Oh, there she is. Got you back. Welcome back, Becky. Sorry about that. We had a computer that decided to do an update.
That's okay. I'm sorry I can't be there in person this morning.
No worries. All right, we're back to our agenda now. And our next item is the Community Advisory Committee report. Mr. Clausen.
Yes, sir. The committee met on the 26th of last month now, June. And we went through as our normal course of the agenda and reviewed your upcoming board agenda. Since, as you've noticed, it's fairly light, and they had a presentation of the TDP, the meeting before. There was just more open discussion from whether or not the members had anything that they wanted to share with us. There was essentially, I went through, in addition to your agenda, I kind of went through some of the same that I'm going to be sharing with you today on some of the activities that I've been up to the last month or so with Congressmember Emily Randall's announcement of the Ferry Caucus within Congress and things of that nature. So I'll share that a little bit later. I shared that with them. They did have a few questions regarding the funding for the continued operation of the Bremerton Fast Ferry route. And I assured them that as we are working with Washington State Ferries to determine exactly how much of that 4 million will be coming to Kitsap, we're going to go ahead and continue to operate the Bremerton Ferry beyond the end of the biennial period of June 30, primarily because we know we're going to get some money, and we're going to continue to operate until we figure out how much we get and how that may impact the ferry service. So we put the word out to the riders as well that not to worry, we're going to continue to operate, and then we committed that we would give them at least 30 days notice before, if any changes were to come about. So until we get that worked out with the Washington State Ferries, that's kind of the position that we've been taking, and I shared that with them. We also, the community helped us. One of the issues that I raised was to solicit their suggestions and assistance. As you may know, since I became the executive director, I hold community meetings once a quarter. And prior to COVID, I used to go literally to each community from South Kitsap to Kingston. And we would designate a period of time on a certain Saturday at whatever, 1 o'clock, we will be here so that folks in that community could attend if they wished. When COVID came, I converted that to a virtual meeting, which what I've been told anecdotally is that they like the virtual meeting better because instead of having a 1 hour only block for their community, they now have the option of joining a meeting throughout the day that we hold them. So we'll have like 3 different start times. And if the morning one works better for their schedule, great, they could join in the morning. If the afternoon works better for their schedule, they could join there. They're not limited to just one time. But the attendance hasn't been stellar. It's been up and down. We've been trying different ways of marketing the event to try to get the attendance up. And I was asking them for any suggestions or help that they might have in helping us get the word out to the community so that hopefully we'll get more participation. If you've not attended any of these, generally we block out an hour of time, roughly 30 minutes of that. I will share something that we're in the middle of. For example, we did one where we shared the transit development plan that you'll be seeing this morning. And then I reserve 30 minutes for whatever, that any member of the community can bring up a question or anything that we're doing. And I use that as an opportunity to have a dialogue with individuals in the community. So we talked about different ways of strengthening the marketing of that effort. We did talk a little bit about House Bill 1418. This is the bill that was approved that provides the option for the board to add 2 community members as voting members to your board. And we'll be talking more about that in the future. It doesn't go into effect until January, so we've got some time to chat about that. And then that was essentially the gist of what occurred at the CAC meeting.
John, just to follow up on that, don't we convene the board composition committee next year anyhow? And is that a logical time to consider that?
Well, it would be, other than the way that I'm interpreting the bill. It's your decision whether or not you want to add the seats. The board composition could deal with how many seats. For example, right now we have 9 voting members plus the labor representative, which is 10. You can add 2 more, which would be 12. The board composition could reduce the makeup so that you remain at 9, with 2 of them being community members. So it's kind of go hand in hand, so to speak.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, it's optional whether or
Yes,
not
it's
we add
optional.
those seats. And so that's probably the logical place to have that discussion, is at that, when that composition committee is appointed, and to have those discussions, whether whether it's appropriate or not at this time. So,
Agreed.
okay. All right. Thank you. Other questions about John's report? Okay, I will we have a published consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion by Commissioner Walters and second by Commissioner Rolfus. I was drawing a blank there. I'm looking right at you. So, all in favor of approving the consent agenda? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm just not on today. So, all right, consent is done. Do we want to take this time to recognize Val, or are we going to wait a little later and go on to our business item?
Sorry. We can certainly do it.
Okay.
Now, with part of that is the driver's recognition. As I shared with the board last month, we were very excited, very proud of one of our own, Valerie Quill, who competed in the national bus rodeo competition for the 35-foot bus. And Val placed first in the nation, which is a very significant honor. I asked Val if she would come here this morning just so that we could have her once again acknowledged by the board, and I wanted to share just a few things that we did last month. So this is one proud operator's photo when she received her trophy at the National Rodeo. The rodeo, or the trophy itself, identifies her as the first place, and I believe she's brought the trophy with her today. Come on up, Bill.
And you have to check out her ring too. It's like a Super Bowl ring.
Val, I'm not sure if you want to say anything, but the other thing that Val brought along, and she, I'm sure, would be happy to show her. I'll show you each, and she has her National Rodeo ring. And so.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. I can see it from here.
Yeah. And as I said, we're very, very proud of Val. She's not only the national champion for the 35-foot rodeo. I'm sitting down so I can get onto the microphone, Val. But I understand you just recently had another significant milestone, your anniversary of 40 years without a preventable accident. Now, if you remember, a few years ago, Val was recognized by the National Safety Council, and I think at that time it was 36 years. Yeah,
They're always a year behind because I started working here before the National Safety Council started.
yeah.
So,
back then she
For
got an
30
award
years.
from the National Safety Council for 37 years of safe driving, and now she just reached another milestone of 40 years without a preventable accident, which is something that, once again, she certainly should be proud of, and we're very excited to not only have the nation's #1 operator, but also one that has a 40-year safe driving records. And you took down the mainly, I think it was the last photo in that series that I think is of value. Next one. This young lady. This was just a few days ago, so like all of us, we've matured with the years, and anyway, Val's been with us. I think I shared with you before, when I first started here, it was an operator, and I came to work with her mother as a driver. And now her son is working for us in our access department.
Wow.
And Damien has indicated that one of his goals is to beat his mother's record. So it's a great goal. So anyway, Val, I wanted to thank you for the agency, to thank you for the great job that you've done. Personally, I wanted to thank you as well for helping Kitsap Transit shine in the national spotlight. And I wanted an opportunity for the board to be able to once again individually thank you for your work. And if you want to shake their hands, I
Chairman?
will carry your trophy. So
Chairman, I have a question. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
How many women have won this award?
She's the first.
one.
I want to make sure that's on the record as well.
Yeah. Yes.
I have two things I'd like to
Please go
throw
ahead.
out there. The first is, it feels like we should just have an agenda item that says recognizing Val, because we do it so often. So, I mean, like a permanent agenda item. And the second is that, Val, I don't know if you are on Facebook, but Sanjay did a post I'm looking at right now, June 12th. It showed up on my feed. I loved it, by the way. But I think it was one of the most liked posts probably of the year. We'd have to look. You had 85 people say congratulations. Some of them sounded like they were your friends and coworkers, but did you see it?
Yes, I did see it and I replied back to all the comments. Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
It was a cool experience to watch her. And knowing nothing about how the competition worked, speed is important too. And she was, I know she's accident free for 40 years, but she clipped a few cones. And I thought, oh, she didn't do very good. But time is a big factor in it too. So it was just amazing to watch her zip through this obstacle course in a 40-foot bus. And then come in first place was just amazing to see.
So you mean, so clipped a few cones that just a little gust of wind could blow over, but they didn't knock them over?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, okay. Anyhow, we don't want to diminish this remarkable achievement. This is pretty awesome.
Go ahead.
Well, Val, I gotta say that all the congratulations to you, but I look at it too in depth with leadership by example. All the other drivers that are watching this and witnessing this are something to strive for, and you've obviously set the stage pretty high, but that is leadership. So thank you for that.
If I can say,
Yes, please.
in the rodeo with my hitting the cones, I timed the first people that went through. And like it was mentioned last month that the one person took 10 minutes. So we have 7 minutes for the course. And between 7 and 8 minutes, you get a point deducted for every second. After 8 minutes, if you still have 4 obstacles left, which are 50 points apiece, even if you did perfect through them, you didn't get any points for those. So on a few of the cones, instead of wasting time backing up and repositioning, which is a penalty points, I chose just to hit them and keep on going, knowing that the course was hard to get through in the 7 minutes. So that was what I was aiming for was the 7 minutes. I came in 6 minutes and 56 seconds. So I didn't have any penalty points for going over time. So that's what I was after, why I hit a few cones.
Strategy, yeah. So, and Val, I know I've heard this, but if you could share with us, approximately how many hours and times did you travel down to Olympia, other locations on your personal time to practice this?
So for just this year so far, I've went down to Olympia 6 times and I stayed 6 hours each time.
Yeah.
On my day off, I normally work 6 days a week, so I'd go down on Sunday. And then last year I went to Tumwater or Tukwila and Woodby Island in Olympia to practice. On this rodeo, there was a written exam, so I studied about 10 hours, Washington State CDL book, and then all the rules for the rodeo, so I didn't know exactly what they're expecting. There was a written test, wheelchair securement, and that was 200 points for wheelchair securement. You had to script you had to memorize and go word for word, and you got points for saying it and points for doing it, 200 points possible. And then bus inspection, looking for defects, and then the rodeo, the driving. So it was a combination of 4 different areas of where you had to do well in.
That's it. That's all you. Again, leadership by example.
Yeah. Yeah, tremendous dedication. And so, yes, go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor. Well done, you. It's really a pleasure to see a difficult job done well. And I really like the fact that you have given us a new phrase, which is the buswoman's holiday. You're working 6 days a week and you're heading down to Olympia for 6 hours. I have a hat, so I can take it off too. Thank you.
Well, let's, Val, if you would come up and Christian, if you come up there, if you would. Go in and then, well, actually, why don't we stand in front of, and if we could ask the board members to. Come down. Oh, so down the block. Get down here, let's,
This one's slow, this one's, yeah. This one was like too. I don't want to adjust it. Non-low. How do you check
Wow. All right.
I will add for Commissioner Rolfe's comment about, I know you were suggesting a permanent placement on the agendas, but we did have the recognition on the agenda, but then Val actually had a doctor's appointment scheduled for this morning, so we had to pull it off the agenda. And then bless her heart, she was able to work with her doctor to reschedule her appointment so she could show up here this morning. So it was on the agenda, but we didn't have enough time to get it back on the agenda with the short. So again, thank you, Val, for all of your efforts.
All right. Now we're going to take a moment to recognize some of our other fabulous drivers.
Yes. Jeff.
Good morning. I'm Jeff Finecourt, Access Manager. It's my pleasure to introduce Access Operator Grisdella Brudor was awarded First Driver of the Month award. She has been with Kitsap Transit since February 2024. Gris has been awarded one way to go, one Distinguished Driver Award, been on the honor roll twice in her career at Kitsap Transit. Her words of wisdom for fellow operators: take pride in what you do. We are helping the community. Congratulations.
Just want to say thank you.
And for our routed operator of the month, I would also share that Catherine Jordan, who is normally here as our operations manager for the routed program, is in the audience, but she is, I guess you could be defined as a short timer. She's about to retire after many, many years of great service for us. And she's handing the gauntlet to our new operations manager. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, John. My name is Thomas Gilbert. I am the new routed operations manager, and I'm proud to be here today to recognize Kurt Harris, our routed driver of the month of May of 2025. Unfortunately, he's not here today, but I'd like just to say a few things about him. This is his first award for the month, driver award month that he's receiving. This is definitely a well-deserved milestone in his career. He's been with the agency since May of 2023. Some of the achievements that he has received is a one way to go award, one distinguished driver award, 6-time honor roll recipient, 2024 safe driving award. You know, this is a great achievement for him. And one of the things that he wanted to say was one of his personal and professional career goals is to retire. So I think we can all relate to that. But this is just a really well-deserved award for him, and a big congratulations and outstanding service to him. Thank you very much.
Cindy Griffey, worker driver manager. So I didn't lock the wheels here, it moved. All right, the May worker driver of the month was Brendan Schroll. Oh, look, there's his picture, okay. Brendan first became a worker driver in 2014. He left Kitsap Transit for a few years and then returned to us in 2023. He's currently the lead driver of our fairgrounds route. Brendan's most memorable moment was when he was first appointed the lead position in his first go around. His hobbies include chasing his kids around, hiking, and wrenching on cars. Someday Brendan would like to climb Mount Rainier, and his words of wisdom are proper preparation and anticipation to prevent unwanted incidents. And he is a facilities manager for Code 900.
Right. Back to our agenda and our business item, a public hearing, presentation on the transit development plan. Mr. Clausen.
Yes, and I would like to introduce our long-range planner, Ed Colavello. Ed is the one that has been shepherding this update, and so I turn it over to him for a presentation on the TDP.
Thank you, John. Good morning, board. It's great to be before you again this year with the TDP for the period of 2025 to 2030. This is a plan that we are required to do by state law, but more importantly, it's just good planning work. It complements our long-range transit plan, in that it's the implementation period, the first 5 years, what we're getting done over the next 5 years, what has been accomplished in the prior year. We have a clicker for the slides. Oh, okay, I'll just next slide. What's inside the TDP? We discuss our organizational goals. We have lists of our current facilities that we own and lease. We have an overview of transit service as of December of 2024. We go over some of the accomplishments from last year, give ourselves a pat on the back for what we have done correctly. And then we look at some of our goals going forward in the next 5 years, such as new projects, service changes, etc. We look at how is our ridership doing, our operating data. What are we forecasting based on our revenues and expenditures going forward? How much service can we provide? We also include the vision map from the long-range transit plan. That's sort of a guiding document from that plan where service should be, needs to be, where the community provided input on future service changes. And then we have 5 or 6 appendices, including system maps, a list of our revenue and non-revenue vehicles, so buses versus work vehicles. And then we have some other programmatic appendices that are used to support efforts at the Puget Sound Regional Council. Next slide. In 2024, we had roughly 462 full-time equivalent positions at Kitsap Transit. In 2023, there were 432 positions, so it was a net increase of 30. And we list out all of our departments and then the positions in the departments, as you can see there. Next slide. This is just a very short list of some of the accomplishments that I could fit on a slide. If you look at the actual plan itself, we have dozens of things that were accomplished. One of the big ones was we took delivery of 73 revenue vehicles last year. It's probably, in my 11 years here, the biggest influx of new vehicles. 30 of those were propane-powered access buses. We took 9 routed battery electric buses last year. And then the first 5 battery electric worker driver buses have been delivered and starting to come online, as well as replacing nearly all of our van length vans with new vans. So that's a very important and unique program that Kitsap Transit provides to help the community. Obviously, you know that Silver Transit Center opened last June, and congratulations. That was a big project, and it's exciting to see it up and operating in the Silver Regional Transit Center. We had a ridership increase of over 20%. I think it was right around 23% increase in boardings from 2024 versus 2023. So that post-pandemic recovery continues. Ridership looks a little bit different, but now that the state ferry service is back to full schedule, we'll kind of see how that goes going forward. Sunday service has been fully rolled out. You don't see Bainbridge Island on here because technically that was in 2025 that we implemented under your direction and guidance, the Bainbridge Island Sunday service. So it's really exciting to see 7-day-a-week service throughout the county. This one of the larger projects that we received funding for, or an award, was a RAISE grant project for the new North Base maintenance facility. That's a really big deal. It's going to give us some continuity, improve efficiencies. We won't have to operate as many deadhead services or basically empty buses going back and forth to get maintenance done at Charleston. So it's going to be a state-of-the-art facility when it's constructed. Next slide. Looking forward, there's a ton of stuff looking forward. First and foremost, the new training facility. We located a piece of property down by the Bremerton Airport for a possible new training facility. We're hoping to begin construction on the Ruby Creek Park and Ride in Port Orchard here in the next year or two. And we've got lots of planning going on for transit centers, park and rides, and marine facilities such as the Seattle Waterfront Terminal is one of the big ones that's out there that we're beginning the environmental NEPA document there. And then, of course, like on the prior slide, we need to complete construction of already awarded projects such as the North Base Maintenance Facility, inductive chargers at our transit centers. And then I think it was 2 weeks ago, you got a presentation about the APC system, the automatic passenger accounting system. So that's something that we're, wrapping up here, and that's going to save us quite a bit of time on passenger reporting and understand our ridership patterns a lot better. Next slide. So in the TDP, we actually have the actual operating data from 2024. How many miles did we drive? How much fuel was burned? How many riders did we carry? Broken out by mode. And then we do a projection going out for the next 5 years. And that projection, the way I do that is I look at Paul, our finance director's revenue assumptions, and then basically look at how many hours of service we're providing today, and then kind of look at some of the demographics and growth that's occurring in the county and do my best guess going forward. Every now and then I get it right. Sometimes I get it wrong. So that's kind of the best we can do. We don't have a technical ridership model that would work well in a community such as this. And then we also have projected capital expenses going forward. Stephanie and Paul put that together. It's a very complex task where we look at how many revenues we're receiving, but also what is the capital match needed. That's the thing with capital facilities. The grants come to us, but they almost always require matching dollars. So that's a balancing act that needs to be done. And then we have Paul's revenue and expenditure forecast going forward. Next slide. And this is an example of the, this is the revenue and expenditure forecast going forward. Next slide. And here's a list of the 6 appendices: routed system map, the equipment inventory, our fleet inventory, the transit asset management plan and targets that's required by Puget Sound Regional Council because they report to the Federal Transit Administration, the data for the region. And then we have a list of regionally significant projects. This helps the public understand some of the big projects that are planned with Kitsap Transit going forward. And if they have a chance to comment, this is another opportunity for them to express themselves to you. And then we also look at our safety results from 2024 and set targets for 2025. Next slide. And I'm looking forward to hearing from the public here at the hearing. We have received 3 comments from the public. Let me write those down. First comment that I received via email was a member of the public looking for service west of Silverdale in the UGA, out by the Dickey Pit area. There's a lot of housing planned out there going forward. There was also a request for service in the area around Illahee and Keyport, up by Brownsville there. And the final one was a request to study the Route 344 to try to improve some of the efficiencies on that route. I open it up to questions, comments, concerns.
Questions for Ed? It's a lot of information I know in this plan. Go ahead, Anna.
Thanks. So I'm looking at the goals on page 2 in our page 2 of this document in our packet. Our goals for 2025,
Yes.
and there's nothing about restoring. I know we have one route in Bremerton on Sunday. Is there, it's not part of our goal to restore Sunday service to its pre-financial crash level?
Right now with our operating revenues, I have not come across that goal at this point.
I think
that
the
can
other
change.
aspect that we've been looking at is the reason that we brought Sunday back in a demand responsive manner was for us to be able to determine what the community would like. So based on who's riding and when will give us the information that we could come back at a later date and look at would it be more efficient to put in a fixed route or just exactly what. So the issue of demand responsive on Sunday was our first step towards identifying what the new demand is going to be.
Oh, excellent. So the dial-a-ride, the demand-a-ride is giving you the data to determine where more fixed routes might be necessary. That's great.
Right.
On Sundays.
Correct.
Okay. Becky, go ahead.
Hi, first of all, Ed, it's a really good plan. I want to say a big thank you to the new route projection that goes from Kingston to Paulsbo, taking in basically coming down Lincoln Road into Paulsbo. I would encourage transit to start that route sooner than later because we've been notified that Bond Road, which is 307, the main route, is going to be shut down for a while because of culvert replacements. So the sooner we get this route up and going, the better we get people trained for that closure that's going to be coming. I'm not sure when that is, in the next couple of years sometime. So that's the first. So that's a big thank you for that. But then I had some problems with the capital planning and operating revenue expenditures. Once again, I'm very sorry I'm not there in person this morning. Looking at the ferry, passenger-only ferry and the passenger-only ferry terminal numbers, we're looking at $186.6 million in the next 5 years, of which we're projecting 151 million to be in grants. And given the current lay of the land, is that realistic? I've been talking for a long time now about my concern about replacement capital on the ferries because they're so expensive and we're going to need to do it pretty quickly, pretty soon. You know, what is the plan for the $150 million in grants? What grant is that going to be? Is it federal? Is it local? I mean, what's the plan?
I'd be happy to respond to that, Mayor. Essentially, the expectation is that that would be funded by the federal government. I appreciate your comment about the uncertainty that's going on. I will share that if we're not successful with achieving the grants, that will just delay the actual implementation of those projects. So it is truly dependent upon grant funding. I would also add that I had a recent conversation with the FTA administrator, at which point she certainly cannot commit anything other than to just share that this project under the current administration would probably score well because of the aspect of the economic development side of it. And I would also notice that the federal government just approved us moving forward with the next phase of the POF dock in Seattle. So, you know, again, you can't bank on it, but unless we get the funding, we obviously can't move forward with the projects.
Yeah, and one of the things that I would ask, and maybe it's in here, but I didn't see it. If it's here, I'm sorry. But, some more ideas about individualized capital replacement for specific vessels. I mean, what is the life expectancy of our ferries? Because it's not like a bus. I mean, when you need a new boat, these things are really expensive. So, I mean, it would be nice to have some depreciation aspects to this as, kind of where we are with our asset structure. But this is a really good plan. I really want to thank you for the hard work that went into it. I always go for the numbers, but I'm deeply appreciative of you putting this together. I really like the passenger counts. I think it's really good data in here. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Other comments or questions? Okay. You have another questions? Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So have we seen this before?
I don't believe.
We've actually seen it, we see this on an annual basis and it gets updated every year.
Yeah.
And moving forward, this particular one, until we've gone through the public process, this is your opportunity to see it. And we presented that to you in preparation for this meeting. And again, with the public hearing, the intent of that is to give the community one more opportunity to share their thoughts on this plan. Now, maybe I could ask you, Ed, how this has been disseminated throughout the community up to this point.
Yeah, several ways. First, through our normal email listserv. Second, we presented to the CAC in May. And third, we also presented on the June 7th quarterly board meetings. It's also been advertised in newspapers. There's hard copies available at our main office at 60 Washington Ave. It's also been disseminated to the Puget Sound Regional Council. You'll see a comment letter in there from the Puget Sound Regional Council.
Okay, so this is the first time we're seeing this, that it has come to us. And I know we do annual updates, Executive Director Clausen, thank you. And it was the update part of this that I was wondering why we hadn't seen before, since we're supposed to be voting on it today. Okay, well, I'm just gonna go on record that I'd like another week or two to look at this. And then I have one more specific question, Mayor, and I promise to stop. One of your stewardship goals for 2025 through 2030 is to secure approval for a new access staging base at the Gateway Center in Bremerton. And then to complete the design and construction of the new Gateway Center access staging base. Is this the same project that would require Bremerton City Council to change the zoning for that area?
That's correct. It's a
Okay.
possibility that it would require zoning changes. There are some other avenues.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna repeat, which is I took this to Bremerton City Council and there was, everyone who was at that meeting was like, no, this is supposed to be one of our centers. It's supposed to be a walkable area. So I'm just repeating that.
Yes.
Out of, duty and responsibility.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Rolfes? Did you raise your hand or not? I thought you did.
I was wondering, so throughout the course of the year, we get emails and requests for specifically North Kitsap, like the Keyport area wanted to look at Dial-A-Ride. Hansville is always asking for some service. I was wondering if, I didn't have time to activate people, to find them, right back to them and say, now is the time to formally do that, formally submit a comment. Was there I feel like there is a way that we should be incorporating these year round so you can consolidate them into comments, like ridership comments, versus waiting for people to submit a comment during a specific comment.
Yeah, 2 out of the 3 I received were received prior to the public comment period. I felt that they were related to
But
planning.
you've caught them.
Yes.
Was
Yeah.
one of those mine from Keyport?
I had an Ilahi one.
Okay.
I don't remember Keyport. I was absent for a few months, but I'm back, so. Sorry.
All right.
So you're saying you are kind of doing that? We
Yeah, we monitor that.
So then you analyze them.
Correct.
I'm gonna find the Keyport one.
Yeah, send it over.
All right. Any additional questions? All right, we're gonna open a public hearing. Jackie has confiscated my gavel, so I'm gonna open the public hearing. And is there anyone wishing to testify on Kitsap Transit's transit development plan? Don't see, is there anyone online? One member? All right, if you could step to the microphone and if you're wanting to provide testimony. No. This is your opportunity.
My name is Carrie Kale. I live in Central Kitsap in the Silverdale UGA, actually West Silverdale. And I want to thank Ed for all his help. I had so many questions. Anyway, with all the development going on across the street from where we live, there's 761 residences being developed currently. And that's residences. How many cars that's going to be, I don't know. And then there's 40 just to the south. That's 800 brought onto Dickey, and down the road on El Dorado, what, 500 plus. And there's no public transportation. You can't even dial up for a ride. So I think it's time for us to really make that a priority, and I sure hope, I'd really love to be able to get on a bus to go down to Whaling Days, go to the Y. I go like 5 times a week and I always have to drive, and it just seems silly for just a couple miles and everything. So I know there's a lot of competing interests and things are questionable these days, but at least if we could get that as a priority, I guess that's my goal, is to speak to you as board and at least document that as a priority going forward. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate your testimony on this matter. Okay, anyone else wishing to testify on Kitsap Transit's transit development plan? Do we have anybody online? No? Okay. All right, seeing no one else in the audience, I'm gonna close that public hearing. All right, we do have a resolution and action item here. Are we comfortable doing that today? Is it time sensitive, Mr. Clausen?
Well, it needs to be approved either at this meeting, or we could delay it to the next meeting, but it has to be approved this month because you're not meeting in August, and this is due to DOT by the first part of September. So kind of, but not hard and fast.
Okay, so
Move to postpone to July 15th.
is there a second to postpone?
I'll second that. I'm fine with waiting because we're talking about it now, and that there's more people can, like, maybe keep it open for public comment until an end date, so.
So a motion, a second to postpone this until our work study meeting in 2 weeks. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair votes aye also. So we'll see this again in 2 weeks.
Mayor, the only comment that I'm going to need to double check is that because we've had the public hearing, something in the back of my mind is saying that was the last opportunity to contribute towards changing it. If we're going to accept any additional comments between now and then, we probably have to open it up again. And we don't have enough time
to post it. So it would really be
those-
comments from the board at
Yeah.
at our next meeting, and for us to
Yeah.
review this and pipe feedback.
I think it might be something that somebody could look at before the close of the meeting, but when we do this, we'll have a public hearing, the county commissioner's public hearing. We want to get more time to think about it. What we do is continue the public hearing till the next meeting for decision and deliberation only. So that there's not going to be another public hearing, but the public hearing is continued. And then we'll be accepting written comment until, 3 days before the meeting.
The attorney concurred with the idea of, if now that you've closed the public hearing, we really can't take any, you guys can talk about it all you want and make actions at the next meeting, but any public input would have to be delayed. Now you can,
Any public input that would become part of the plan or documented part of the plan, but I think we can take comment from constituents and we can bring things to our meeting and for discussion.
excuse me, Mr. Mayor, you
Sir.
could possibly reopen the public hearing here and then continue it
Okay,
to the next meeting on the 15th, so that technically any comments that came in
Okay.
between now and then.
all right,
You can hear, yeah.
okay, all right.
So
So
we need a motion to
is it the
reopen.
desire for me to reopen the public hearing and continue? Okay, so I have reopened the public hearing and we will continue it until our next meeting where we will close the public hearing.
I'll second that in case it needs to be moved and
Okay.
seconded.
All right. So, and then maybe you made the motion since I'm running the meeting and someone over here seconds it. Do I hear a second to that motion?
I'll move, I'll move to open the public hearing for comments on this plan until the next meeting.
Okay, and I heard a second from Christine.
Second.
All right, all in favor of reopening the public hearing and continuing it to our next meeting, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, and the chair votes aye. All right, we cleaned that up. Thank you for that clarification. Yeah. All right, we done with this item for now? And our next action item is, well, not action item, is a executive session. And Kitsap Transit Board of Commissioners will now meet in executive session to discuss potential litigation pursuant to RCW 4230-110-1I. The Kitsap Transit Board of Commissioners will be in executive session for 15 minutes. The Kitsap Transit Board of Commissioners may take further action following the executive session. We will now adjourn to a separate executive session.
And Mr. Mayor, I would like to invite Stephanie Lilly to join.
We're gonna go in the back room, yes. We're going to extend for an additional 15 minutes.
Kitsap Transit Board Chair has extended the executive session an additional 15 minutes, bringing us to 12 noon.
I said you thought you were putting that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, they were, yeah, they're actually, right? They were so cool.
We're going to extend for 5 more minutes.
So she doesn't know. She's better have two sets of. Yeah. Hey, buddy. Yeah. It's been. And now there's two others are. Okay. My daughter. Yeah, so. That one's left. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just like, sure. Yeah, but, oh, yeah, they see.
Okay, we're back from executive session. No action will be taking, and Kitsap Transit Board of Commissioners meeting is adjourned.